Hello students, today we are going to do The Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 2, lines 75 to 114. Nerissa, what think you of the Scottish lord, his neighbour? Nerissa means, what do you think of his neighbour to the north, the Scottish lord? As Scotland and England are neighbours. To this Portia, that he hath a neighbourly charity in him, for he borrowed a box of beer of the Englishman and swore he would pay him back again when he was able. I think the Frenchman became his surety and sealed under for another. Portia says she thinks that the Scottish lord has a neighbourly charity in him, as he received a slap from the Englishman, and he did nothing, but only threatened to hit him back later when he could. Became his surety means guaranteed that he would repay the debt, refers to the constant assistance that the French gave the Scots in their fights against the English. French and Scots were enemies of English. Now here sealed under for another means signed his name underneath the Scotsman's signature on the imaginary bond as a guarantee for a friend. That means pledged himself that the Scottish lord would repay the Englishman the box on the ear. Nerissa, how like you the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew? Nerissa names the young baron the Duke of Saxony's nephew's name and asks how Portia likes him. Portia, very wily in the morning when he's sober and very wily in the afternoon when he's drunk. She means she dislikes him in the morning when he's sober and she really hates him in the afternoon when he is drunk. When he is best, he is a little worse than a man, and when he is worst, he is a little better than a beast. Portia says when the young German is at his best behavior, he is not quite a man, and when he is at his worst, he is barely better than a beast. Now, here, this is the worst of all suitors' children, and the worst fall that ever fell, I hope I shall make shift to go without him. That means the worst that could ever happen should happen, and wish that I hope I won't have to marry him. Nerissa, if he should offer to choose and choose the right casket, you should refuse to perform your father's will if you should refuse to accept him. Nerissa means that if he chooses the right casket and you refuse to marry him, you would be refusing to follow your father's will. Portia, therefore, for fear of the worst, I pray thee. Well then, for the fear that might happen, I request you. Set a deep glass of Rhenish wine on the contrary casket. That means place a large glass of Rhenish wine, that is the white wine made from grapes of Rhine Valley, on the wrong casket. For if the devil be within and that temptation without, I know he will choose it. Means, for if he has the urge to drink, then he will choose the wrong casket. I will do anything, Nerissa, ere I will be married to a sponge. Portia says she will do anything then to be married to a sponge. She calls him a sponge as a sponge can absorb a large quantity of liquid, and so can the Duke of Saxony's nephew. Nerissa, you need not fear, lady, the having any of these lords. Nerissa calms Portia by saying you need not get scared that you will have to accept any of them. They have acquainted me with their determinations, which is indeed to return to their home and to trouble you with no more suit. That means, as That's the suitors, have informed me of their decision that they want to return to their home and they don't want to choose the casket. Unless you may be won by some other sort that your father's imposition depending on the cascades means unless they can woo you by some other way than your father's plan with the cascades. Now here what could be the reason for all the suitors to refuse to choose? Actually it is a third one that says that if if you choose wrong you shall not marry again. If I live to be as old as Sibylla, I will die as chaste as Diana, unless I be obtained by the manner of my father's will. Now, who is Sibylla here? The Sibyl of Cumae is a prophetess in Roman mythology. Apollo granted her as many years of life as there were sand grains held in her hand. Here, she is being referred to suggest a traditional old woman. Diana is the Roman mythological goddess of virginity, of hunting, and the moon. These lines means if I live as old as Sibylla, but still I will live and die as chaste, that is pure, or a virgin as Diana, until I am obtained in the manner mentioned in my father's will. And so you already know this that the will says that one who chooses the right casket can only marry Portia. I am glad this parcel of wooers are reasonable, for there is not one among them but I dote on his very absence, and I pray God grant them a fair departure. Portia is happy, and she says, these set of suitors are so reasonable as there is not one she does not wish to be absent, means whom she wishes to be present, and she prays that God may grant them a smooth trip home. Do you remember, lady, in your father's time a Venetian scholar and a soldier that came hither in company of Marcus the Montferrat? Nerissa reminds Portia that in her father's time in Venice a scholar and soldier who came there along with Marcus the Montferrat. This is ironic, as Bassanio is neither. Nerissa says that Portia would be pleased to hear. So Portia. Yes, yes, it was Bassanio, as I think so was he called. The moment Nerissa takes Bassanio's name immediately, Portia says, yes, yes, it was Bassanio. I think that was his name. As though she has been eagerly waiting to discuss about him and she seemed to be interested in Bassanio. Nerissa. True, madam, he is of all the men that ever my foolish eyes looked upon was the best deserving a fair lady. Nerissa says that, right, madam, of all the men her foolish eyes have ever seen, Bassanio was the one most deserving, the beautiful lady that like Portia. I remember him well, and I remember him worthy of thy praise. Portia says, I remember him well, and I remember her being worthy of your praise. Let's do another idiom today. I have not slept one wink. What is the meaning of this? It means I did not sleep at all. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for the latest updates and like the video if you have understood.